So how do you sleep? How do you sleep? How do you fall asleep faster at night? Uh, I'm going to tell you. But a story about me. I was a gamer, a huge gamer as a kid growing up. Um, Games were simple back when I was growing up, but then it turned into online games, Halo, all my Halo boys and girls, and then I got into World of Warcraft, and then Warcraft because I was sick of paying for World of Warcraft, and then Warcraft 3 led to Dota, and which eventually led to Dota 2. And since that had a ranking system, I was all about that. The problem with that is, even if when I got done playing Dota and I said, okay, time to go to bed, if I won the games, I wanted to play more. If I lost, I was very upset and good luck trying to go to bed. Even if what I thought was, oh, I'm going to be in bed enough to get good sleep, but my mind was wired. I was angry. I wanted to, I wanted to win. The solution for everybody is to just cut the electronics off. Okay, I have seen this in uh, probably different chats, but like Discord channels where people are saying, "Hey guys, I can't sleep," or "Here's my insomnia coming back." And I just think to myself, do you realize that you are complaining about your sleep using a device that prevents you from sleeping? Now, we have a lot of information out there, like YouTube, talking about like ways to fall asleep, and people may go into supplements and stuff. I'm not going to touch that because there's a much simpler solution. And with all the advice out there about like breathing or take a hot shower certain hours, the biggest one is to have the electronics cut off. And a lot of people mention that, but in this day and age, it is so extremely hard to stop using it at a decent hour. So let's go through history. Electricity has been around for what, 100, about 100 years. Edison, thank you, or over 100 years, but you get the idea. But we went from candles, or I guess, fire, no light, campfires, candles, artificial light, which is one thing, right? You can keep the light on and it helps us work more, right? We can just see. But then we went to TV. Now, TVs used to cut off at a decent hour, but then advertising was like, oh, well, we can have ads. Let's have 24/7 TV and then 24/7 news to feed your ego or fear or your negativity bias. And then it's starting to ramp up, right? We got 24/7 TV, infinite channels, then we have the internet, infinite information, and now we have our phones where we can bring that information with us wherever we go, even at your dinner table. And if you're doing that, how dare you? So what happened with me, I realized I was playing way too much Dota. I think I had like, this is Dota 2, it's about 6,000 hours. I don't know how much Dota 1 hours I had, but shameful. But I was playing too much and I just said, all right, we'll just quit for 90 days. I didn't quit outright. Actually, I haven't played in maybe three and a half years. Whatever. So I said, all right, we'll just quit Dota 2. You can play any, you can watch shows, you can play any other game, actually. And when I did that, my dopamine was so fried that nothing else felt fun. So I probably picked the wrong game. I tried to play Knights of the Old Republic, which is a very slow RPG game if you don't know Star Wars. And I would sit there and my brain was like, I don't want to do this. I tried to watch Daredevil. I hadn't seen it. And I was like, oh, I'll watch this now that I have the time. My brain didn't want to do that. And now on top of losing the excitement, I was very sleepy at night. Remember when I said I would play right up until bedtime and then brain was wired? I think, or not, I think my brain was finally catching up on just general fatigue. I would still wake up and try to work out, but not a good combination with playing games right up until bedtime. So the solution, now I've talked about games a lot, but the solution is just electronics on the whole. And I think there's different things you use or have different intensities. gaming and TV are actually not as bad as unfortunately your phone. Because your phone, you have multiple social media outlets. It's feeding you like, oh, I'm being a social creature. Not really. You're kind of just sitting by yourself. And you have different socials, constant feeds, and now you get all the ads. It's like you on Facebook it used to just be what you see from your friends. Now it's just like, oh, here's this random thing that we would think you're interested in. Hello, Instagram Reels. That's like on steroids. So the the solution is to just separate yourself from it. A lot of people get upset over how much they're using social media and they quit. Emotionally, I think that's way too much for your monkey mind. It's going to be like, oh no, I'm isolated. Instead, now I'm going to talk about the night. Just have a cutoff time of this stuff. Um, the TV with shows that you watch and games, that's a little bit better because you actually have to concentrate. Go ahead and have 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours of that. Okay, if you have been staying up too late, know yourself. Okay, don't kid yourself. I feel like everybody, if you're a busy adult, you should be waking up and doing something, probably working out anyway. So that should give you a reason to cut it off at night. Have something exciting in the morning so that you can chop off activities at night. So TV and games, 1 or 2 hours, be done with it. Now with the phone, there's three things I would recommend for the nighttime. Have everybody knows, like, don't use it 1 hour before bed. Obey that. Okay, that that's like a minimum. The earlier you can do it, the better. I saw this. I think it was a Harvard professor said he cut it off at 7 p.m. Depending on what time you go to bed, that's a long time. That could be 3 hours. If you need that, do it. 1 hour is good. 1 hour from when you know, okay, this is when I want to fall asleep, not just be in bed. This is when so don't scroll on your bed. But when you know you should be falling asleep, you should cut off. Let's say, I know I should be falling asleep at 10 o'clock, and you shouldn't be using your phone at 9. That's when you cut it off. Work stuff, emails, get that out of the way. Check your social media, even though it could be infinite. Just come on. Make a little alarm on your phone and say, this is the last time I'm going to use my socials, right? Social media. And I say social media because technically you could use your phone for more wholesome things. I guess you could watch your streaming service on there, educational YouTube. You could read Kindle. Uh, those are fine, but the temptation is so close. You probably want to, if you're a reader, you probably want to invest in a actual Kindle device because it just creates one more layer of separation. So have the alarm to cut it off. Maybe put your phone away. All right. Check everything you need to do. Put your phone in another place and you should be good. The other two things with the phone that I didn't really mention, I'll have a newsletter, but set a time limit on all social media. And you're going to do like intermittent fasting, right? Intermittent fasting with food, if you don't know, is when you just don't eat for certain periods of time. Like you wake up and you don't eat for like 4 to 6 hours and then you eat. And now I'm going to take it up a notch and say, don't consume in the morning, right? Maybe you should be getting up and doing things before you roll over and check your phone. Don't use it in the morning. Cut the time down during the day and then don't use it at night. All right. So an hour is enough of social media time unless you're using it productively, like posting. Even that, you don't need that much time. So don't use it much in the morning. Reduce it during the day. If you're at work, you should keep it away from you. And then don't use it for the last hour of the night. I mentioned TV shows and games. Have your little entertainment session at night before bed. But then you may be thinking, well, I'm going to be bored. What do I do? For most people, that little action is enough to, you'll just sit around and you'll probably be tired enough to go to bed. Now, this is about going to bed faster. That means when your head hits the pillow, ideally you're not tossing and turning. But if you are, I guess the first thing I want to list is just like write stuff down. You're like, what do I write? I listen to this podcast, and a good 3 steps are, gratitude, make you happy. What is bothering you? Okay. Because you're probably up because you're thinking about a lot of stuff. If you can get it out of your head, it's more like physical. You can see it. And then fears and worries. So gratitude, fears and worries. And then I guess uh, not a plan yet, but then what you want out of the future. Because with the last 2 steps, you can like, oh, well, I know I can make a plan out of this. And then just try it the next morning. Seriously. Like, don't research more. Just go to bed or try your idea. So write, get stuff out of your head. You can read. It can be fiction or nonfiction. Uh, Play an instrument. That's what I do. I'll practice guitar. At this point in the night, I'm very tired. Get ready for the next day. That's a big one. Plan the next day, even if it's planning your first hour of the day. Get your stuff ready for work. This all may seem boring, but come on. Get your house clean, right? Don't have a mess that you have to rush around and fix at the last second. But that's really it. And I didn't write this, but I think the trap people get into is that they haven't. Let me back up. We talk about like entertainment at night. You have to ask like why? Why are you entertaining yourself at night? And there's this revenge bedtime procrastination. You want to get some enjoyment out of your day. Okay. I understand you have a stressful day. You're like, well, I'm gonna get revenge and have fun. I would recommend is to set some sort of goal. Well, we're in the gym, right? Set a gym workout goal and put that at the beginning of your day. Because if you haven't had anything that's you winning, you're going to have your fun at night be that thing, but it doesn't give me any return. Okay. If you flip it and say, let me just chop this off and let me put something I'm looking forward to in the morning. All right. Even if it's going to take a while, if you've been out of it, 10-minute workout, but you just keep showing up, you just won the day. And now you think, well, I don't need my little fix at night because I won. I need to make sure I'm awake, but I've won the day before the day started. Okay. So that's it, everybody. Try that out. That's going to be hard for people with a lot of free time, unfortunately, like high school or right out of high school, college kids, because with the phone and even like watching YouTube, it's so much potential information you could see that you get into the rabbit holes, and it's hard to just stop yourself. But the best way to stop is just pure abstinence from that thing. Okay. And then when you start practicing that, keep your morning sacred, reduce the time in the day, and keep the nights quiet, you will stop craving it so much. So that is what has been working for me. My sleep's not always perfect, but I, through the night or in the morning, where I may wake up earlier than I want to, but at least I can fall asleep like a rock. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Newsletter version of this is in the description. Bye bye.